Jared Gilliam. Own your money. Own your life.
I'm Jared Gilliam. This is the Jared Gilliam Show. It's January 2nd. It's the new year. It's 2020, and I've been pumped to get started for like the last 2 weeks, and that's how, New Year's Day is actually my least favorite day of the year because you got all these things you want to do, you want to get started, and it's a holiday, and you're sitting around. If you want to call to talk about your money, please call 844-305-7800. That's 844-305-7800. And I'm going to make some predictions here for the new year and possibly longer. Making predictions is kind of a sport on Wall Street. There are people who are paid to make predictions. There are these people known as strategists, equity strategists at banks, and this has been going on for a long time. And the strategists back in the late 90s got really famous. They were very well known. There was Abby Joseph Cohen at Goldman Sachs, and there was, who else? Jeff Applegate at Lehman Brothers, and there was a whole bunch of them. Tobias Levkovich at Citigroup. And it was a really easy game back then because all they had to do was predict that the market was going up, and the market went up, and they did this for years and years and years, and they looked like geniuses. And then nobody got it right when the market started going down. Nobody at all. So it's sort of like a national sport to like beat up on these strategists because they always get the market wrong. And I have sympathy for the strategists. I'm in the prediction business too. I have to predict things for my job. And one of the things that I always say is that I have no idea what is going to happen. I really don't. I do my best. But the thing is on Wall Street is that if you make predictions about things, then everybody writes them down and then waits for you to be wrong. And when you're wrong, they jump all over you. So consequently, there's this environment where people get beat up for their predictions all the time. It makes people less want to make predictions, and people now they won't go on the record anymore to predicting anything because they just get fricasseed. So I suppose I should give my predictions for this year, but like I said, I have no idea what's going to happen, and I also am biased about a bunch of things and not entirely objective, but at least I know that I am not objective, and I try to take that into account. So I suck. I absolutely suck at this, but we're going to, in the spirit of sucking, let's try to do a good job here. So my first prediction of the year for 2020 is that gold will outperform stocks by 40%. By 40%. And that can happen a bunch of different ways. You can have gold go up 40 and stocks be flat. You can have gold go up 20 and stocks be down 20, or you can have gold be flat and stocks be down 40. But my prediction is that gold will outperform stocks by 40%. And the only thing I can say about the 2020s is that they will be different from the 2010s. In the 2010s, stocks went up for 10 years straight, and it was indexing, and it was buybacks, and it was short volatility, and it was all this stuff. And it's going to be a different environment. And I think the things that didn't perform well in the last decade are going to perform well this time, and that means gold. And there's a bunch of reasons this could happen where we have huge deficits. We have increasingly radical politics, and the dollar is getting weaker, and I think it's going to be a big year for gold. So, number two, it's also going to be a big year for commodities. And one of the things that I've talked about is you have stocks in your portfolio. Hopefully you have bonds in your portfolio, but you should also have commodities in your portfolio for diversification purposes. And this could be a year where you have a bad year in financial assets. You have a bad year in stocks and bonds, but you have a good year in commodities and real estate. So it's crucial that you have some commodities in your portfolio. And financial assets, when I say that, I mean stocks and bonds. Stocks and bonds had a 10-year run. It was an epic run, and now I think it's time for hard assets. Number three, we will not have a recession. We will have the beginnings of a recession. I think that the economic data will deteriorate towards the end of the year. Hopefully not too much before the election, because that will influence the election. But the economic data will start to get worse just before the end of the year. I think we'll have a recession in 2021. It's a stupid call. I have no idea. I don't know what's going to happen, but that's my guess. Okay, it's a guess. Number 4, oil prices will probably go up quite a bit. Oil is $61 a barrel now. I think it could go to 80 or 90. And that means that gasoline here in South Carolina is about $2.40. That would mean it would go up to about $3. So no other reason to believe this other than nobody else thinks it's possible, so I think it's possible. This is a sort of a left field one. Number 5, the number of vegans in this country will go up by 3x or more. Vegans. This is the new trend, plant-based diets. This is trending. This is going to explode this year. I assure you, it is going to go bananas. It's going to go absolutely bananas. And the whole thing that happened last year with Beyond Meat and the IPO, that is, you ain't seen nothing yet. This is going to get really, really big. So keep an eye out for that. Number 6, the Fed will cut rates even more. And nobody believes this is possible right now because Powell has pretty much said that the Fed is done. The economy is strong. The stock market is strong. There's no reason for the Fed to cut rates. But if you understand President Trump's behavior, you know that he kicks the Fed's butt all the time to lower rates. That will continue into 2020. I think they will lower rates out of political pressure, if nothing else. Number 7, long-term interest rates won't move much at all. I think it's going to be a very boring year for the bond market. If you're worried about mortgage rates, if you're buying a house, they might go up a little bit, but probably not too much. I'll probably get a bunch of calls on this. Number 8, there are 2 possibilities for president, Trump or Bernie Sanders. Trump is crazy, and the only person who can beat him is someone crazier. That is my call. Number 9, the auto market, the car market will fall apart, maybe this year, but maybe next year. And that's probably also going to coincide with the start of the recession when people start defaulting on their car loans. And we've talked about how everybody is stretched, how there's no chance a middle-class family can buy a new car these days. It's just impossible with the average price of a new car at $36,000, and people are taking out these ridiculous loans. And default rates on car loans are already pretty high. They will skyrocket. And 9A, the automakers will get bailed out again. Have you seen charts of these automakers? Have you seen a chart of Ford? It is a disaster. Number 10, energy stocks will do the best this year, and tech stocks will do the worst. Also, this idea of ESG, environment, social governance, the politically correct stocks. This is going to be a disaster this year because none of them own energy stocks, and they're all going to do well. All the bad stocks are going to do well. Number 11, people will finally get sick of superhero movies. And that actually has financial implications. This is Disney. And we have been just inundated with superhero movies for the past 10 years. And I think we're finally getting fatigue. And I think we're getting Star Wars fatigue. I think nobody is going to give a crap about this stuff. And Disney stock is going to get cut in half. That is my call. Number 12, higher education starts to roll over and colleges begin to go bankrupt. And I've talked a little bit about the higher education bubble. We are entering into a demographic bear market. There's going to be a smaller pool of kids going to school, and these colleges are not going to be able to survive. I hate making predictions. Nobody ever gets credit when they go right. They just get dumped on when it goes wrong, but I'm doing my best. I'm Jared Dillian. This is The Jared Dillian Show.
The Jared Dillian Show.